Once somebody told me the world was gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. That was a famous quote from William Shakespeare. Does that have anything to do with the video? No. We're gonna be talking about Mario Sunshine. So guys, you know who it is. It's me, Tealman64, and like what I said earlier, we're gonna be talking about Super Mario Sunshine. This game is a divisive Mario game. It's either you love or hate this game. Now, my stance on the game, you're gonna have to watch till the end of the video because I'm not telling you right now because that would be stupid. Well, yeah, sit back, relax, hit that like and subscribe button, and we're gonna jump right in to Mario Sunshine. Super Mario Sunshine was released
July 18th,
2002, and it was for the Nintendo GameCube. By the way, I'm talking about the 3D collection version. I know there's a bit of a debate if the original one is better or worse, mostly because one uses analog triggers and one doesn't, but I've only always played it on the Switch, so I don't really know much of the differences between it, if there's any at all. But this game released right after Super Mario 64, but it was not considered the successor to Super Mario 64 because that was Super Mario Galaxy, which I think is kind of sad because I actually do think Super Mario Sunshine is kind of successor to Super Mario 64. It's a lot different from most Mario games, but it's mostly the same. And what's really different is this game actually has a true story. And we're gonna talk about that right now. So the story of Super Mario Sunshine starts with Princess Peach, Mario, and Toadsworth, and they're on a plane going to vacation on Isle Delfino, and a video starts playing that basically shows what you can do at Isle Delfino, and oddly enough, Princess Peach sees a shadow Mario figure in the background, but Mario's already there. That's pretty creepy stuff. But anyways, the plane has a rough landing on Isle Delfino because they noticed this weird goop. And Toadsworth tells Mario to go find a way to deal with it. And that's when Mario gets introduced to the Flash Liquidizer Ultra Dowsing device. And now that Mario's acquired the Flood, he can go clean up the goop, but it's in the shape of a piranha plant. That's pretty strange. But you think all would be well after that, but it's not. Because the Delfino police comes in and arrest Mario and take him to court. And they explain to Mario that he's been polluting the land and drove away all the shine sprites. And Princess Peach tries to object to this, but the judge overrules her and basically says Mario is guilty and Mario is pinned to prison. It's so sad. But what was up with video game and platformer characters just getting arrested in the early 2000s? That's just something strange I noticed. But anyway, the Flood explains to Mario that the shine sprites are the guardians of Isle Delfino. And when the land was getting polluted, it drove them away. Now, Isle Delfino is slightly darker now. And that's not a good thing. Because how are they going to get some sunshine? But anyway, the police basically tell Mario to do community service. They're always watching him. And they're probably going to put him back into jail. And then Mario cleans up some graffiti that's on the ground. And then the statue of a Pianta rises from the ground. And then the Shadow Mario figure is on top. He's on top of it and immediately jumps down and tries to kidnap Princess Peach. Mario chases him down, hits him with the Flood a little bit, and then he ends up painting some graffiti and then just goes inside of it. And then let's skip a little bit. Let's go a little bit further along because it's just playing a couple of levels before this. And the Shadow Mario has Princess Peach, but he's in this weird Bowser submarine and he speeds off to the amusement park off in the distance, and Mario chases him down and finds him at the gate. Then he starts running off. Mario chases him down a little bit more, and then he jumps over to a pool and starts floating above it, aura farming until a giant Bowser mech starts rising from the ground. And then after Mario destroys the Bowser mech, it turns out that the Shadow Mario is actually Bowser's son, Bowser Jr., and tells Mario that he's not gonna let him get the Princess Peach because that's his mother. And Princess Peach is just as confused as Mario is, but then before Mario could do anything, he escapes and turns the head into a hot air balloon. And then a couple levels later, Isle Delfino floods and Mario has to go up to Corona Mountain and finish the job and get to Bowser. And when he does, Bowser's in a hot tub of acid and Mario has to fight him, and we get one of the greatest cutscenes in the entire game.
Mario! How dare you disturb my family vacation?
But then after he's beaten, they all fall down to Isle Delfino, and the Grand Shine is returned to Isle Delfino. The sunshine to the place is back, but it's not without its casualties, because Mario and Peach are safe. But the flood, as in, we get one of the saddest deaths in any video game.
Mario, was I, assist,
And then it cuts to Bowser going to tell Bowser Jr. some bad news, that Princess Peach isn't really his mother. And Bowser Jr. says he already knows that. And he says when he gets older, he wants to fight Mario. And Bowser is like, great, we're gonna enjoy this vacation. Shows Mario and Peach just looking at the sunset until the Toads come in and shows Mario that they repaired the flood. And the end. I actually think the story of Super Mario Sunshine is pretty good. I actually like it. I think that they really tried to tell a story for a Mario game this time, and it's the only one where there's voice acting. There's never been another Mario game with voice acting. Even Galaxy or Odyssey didn't even have voice acting. And that is so sad. I wish they kept doing it. But Mario Sunshine wasn't considered the best Mario game, so they probably just didn't do it because of that. But hey, at least they attempted at something, and it was a lot better than Galaxy. I still hold by that standpoint that the story of this game is still better than Galaxy, because it literally isn't the same thing as every other Mario game but in space. Yeah, Princess Peach gets kidnapped in Sunshine, but it's not till halfway through the game, and that's what makes it a little bit more interesting. Also, plus Sunshine introduced Bowser Jr. All Galaxy did was introduce one character that barely did anything throughout the story. And that's why I genuinely think, in my opinion, that Sunshine is better, has a better story than Galaxy. But hey, that's just my opinion. And we all know what the best part of a Mario game is. It's the gameplay. So now let's talk about the gameplay. So now the gameplay of Super Mario Sunshine, it's a mixed bag. I'm gonna be honest. It can be some of the most fun Mario gameplay ever, and it can be the worst Mario gameplay ever. It just really depends on what shine you're trying to get. And like, yeah, this game does have some positive and negative, so we're gonna go over the more positive stuff, and then we're gonna get a little more negative as we go on. So first things first, let's talk about the flood. I think the flood is actually really good. I think it's a super fun mechanic that is well utilized throughout the game, and it's just pretty good. I do hear a lot that that's one of the reasons why the game isn't that good, is because the flood makes it too easy, which I don't know how to feel about that. It does it is kind of easy to use the flood, but there are still some levels where you have to know platforming skills to complete even with the flood. And there are certain levels without the flood, but we're gonna elaborate that more later. But the flood has like 4 nozzles. It has the normal nozzle that just shoots out a stream of water. You have the hover nozzle that allows you to use as kind of a jetpack for a limited time. And then you have the 2 other nozzles. I don't remember their names too much, so I'm gonna call the first one the boost nozzle because it reminds you of the boost from the Sonic games. And I actually think the boost nozzle is pretty good. I like how it works, and it's a really fun little gimmick, and it can be really fun to use, especially on one secret stage in the game that really reminds me of the boost levels from Sonic games, and that's really awesome. And then you have the next one that I'm just gonna call the rocket nozzle because I don't remember its name, where it gives you a lot of upwards momentum and it just shoots you straight up. And it's like a pretty cool thing, even though it's like, I don't know what to say. These 2 nozzles are used very sparingly. Only the rocket nozzle gets used more throughout the game. But other than that, you're not really going to be using those 2 things to get them like really late in the game. And this game also has Yoshi, which it's kind of cool to see Yoshi again, especially in a 3D Mario game. And he can shoot out juice. He has projectile vomiting. And he can just basically do some of the stuff that Mario can do, but not all of it. But if he touches water, he will immediately die. And then before we get into levels, I want to talk about the hub world. I think Delfino Plaza is genuinely amazing. I think it's one of the best hub worlds in any game. It's up there with Princess Peach's Castle, Station Square. Those are, in my opinion, the 2 best hub worlds in any game. And I think it's right alongside those because it's just so lived in. The vibe is just always great. And then you got that music that's always kicking in the background. It's just a really cool hub world. And you can even see some of the later levels off in the distance at some points. And it just has a lot of secrets you can find. It's just a really fun place to explore. And that's my thoughts on the hub world. Now we're going to talk about the levels. And the levels are Bianca Hills, Rico Harbor, Gelato Beach, Pina Park, Nelky Bay, Serena Beach, and Pianta Village. Now I'm gonna go over my favorite ones first. And my absolute favorite in the entire game is Rico Harbor. I think that it's genuinely the best level in the game in my opinion because I just like the vibe of it. I like how it is. It's just a really fun level and can have some really tight platforming at times. And it's just a really fun stage. I know a lot of people don't really like the blooper race, but I love the blooper surfing race. It's a fun little stage, even though I kind of suck at it. I still think it's really fun. But the same can't be said about the 8 coins on the blooper. That one kind of sucks. It's not really that fun. And my second favorite level is Bianca Hills. I think that level is a very fun first stage. It uses all the mechanics really well and it teaches you basically how to play the game. And it's just a really fun little stage with a neat little vibe to it. And then my third favorite level has to be Serena Beach. I think Serena Beach is such a fun level with some really cool ideas, but I also think it can have some of the worst levels in the game. And the levels I'm referring to are the shines that you collect. So yeah, and it has some really fun ones, except for Mystery of Hotel Delfino. That one kind of sucks a bit, man. I think it takes too long. It's just a really tedious, what's that called, shine to collect. But then you also have some other ones and some other cool ones there. And I think out of all of them, I think the most fun one out of all of the shines in that entire level is probably has to be the first one, which isn't really a good sign, but I still just like Serena Beach. And also Serena Beach has a casino. Let's go gambling, yeah!
Let's go gambling! Aw, dang it. Aw,
But yeah, that is my third favorite level. Now this is when the game starts to it starts to really lose me, because then there is Peanut Park, which I think the level is good but not great. But I don't think it's as good as some of the other levels in the game, because I can remember a lot of shines from those levels. But this one I can't really remember, except for like maybe 3 being the first shine, the 8 red coins on the ship, mainly because that one is time consuming and tedious. And then the, what is it called? Top of the Ferris wheel one, which that one kind of sucks because it's tedious. But if you fall off that, you're gonna have to climb the whole thing again, and it's just kind of miserable. So yeah, I like Peanut Park, but I don't think it's as good as my 3 favorites. And then you have Gelato Beach, which Gelato Beach is genuinely the most boring level in this game, but it's still better than the other 2. It's just like one of the more boring ones. I can't say it's the most boring, and the next one on my list is actually more boring. And this level just has it's just really boring. It just doesn't really have much I can remember except for the stupid fudging Sandbird. Show some Mario fans the Sandbird. We'll give them more flashbacks, because it is that bad. It is so annoying. It is so tedious. I know I'm saying tedious a lot. It's because this game just has that problem of having very annoying levels or shines to collect, and that one's just kind of miserable. It's just not that good. It's not that fun. And then a lot of the other ones just aren't really memorable too much. You have the race, and then like, I don't really know what else to say. Then you have the awful 8th shine to collect, which is the watermelon one, and that one kind of sucks because of all the cataquacks will just immediately ruin the entire thing. It's just not that fun to like play. And then the next one being Nelky Bay, which, oh my gosh, that one's the most boring in the entire game. I don't think there's any real shine that I can remember actually enjoying in Nelky Bay. It's just not that fun of a level, nor is it the worst, because one of the worst levels I think in any Mario game is Pianta Village. That level sucks. I hate it with every fiber and being in my body, because oh my gosh, it has some of the worst shines in the entire game. You have the infamous goop one, the one where there's just a bunch of lava goop on the floor and you have to navigate under Pianta Village. But I never fudging do that trash, because that's just miserable. I always used the speedrunner tactic because it's just more fun and more reliable to do and less time consuming. And then like, it's just has a lot of like not good ones. And then, well, by far the worst shine in the entire game, and you probably know what I'm talking about, Secret of Pianta Village. If that rings a bell, then you know that is the infamous Chuckster secret stage. Oh my gosh, I hate that one no flood stage because it's just so annoying. And I know I've been neglecting to talk about the no flood stages, because I think, at least me personally, I thought this was one of the reasons why people didn't really like Mario Sunshine too much. The no flood stages can be fun, or they can just be downright abysmal, which 90% of the time they're downright abysmal. This is what separates good players from the not so good players. These stages kind of suck, because Mario Without the Flood controls terribly. And I don't think the game was ever designed to not have the flood, because Mario's controls are so slippery, and like, he's missing the long jump, which I forgot to mention, and it was replaced with the flood, and that lack of long jump is so evident in some of these levels. They can be frustrating and annoying. And then Chuckster, which is the most miserable one in the entire game. One mistake and you'll be thrown into the void, and it just sucks so much. I could excuse Sandbird, and Chuckster. If it wasn't fudging required to beat it in game. If you don't know, Mario Sunshine, the only way to beat the game is to beat at least 7 episodes of each level. And the 7th one is Shadow Mario. Some of these secret no flood stages in Sandbird are fudging required to beat the game. And that is just kind of dumb. And this is why I can see why people would not like this game. Because there's just so much garbage in this game that hold it back, but I still love it. But the Shadow Mario things, the reason why I don't talk about Shadow Mario, because it's just like everything in this game. It can range from being easy to just being annoying and tedious, and he will keep running and it's just annoying. Especially the Milky Bay one. It's so annoying because he will just keep wall jumping and you have to slowly kill him and it takes forever. But all of that doesn't ever compare to the single worst level in this entire game. And that level is Corona Mountain. Corona Mountain. It is the worst level in this game. If I hate Chuckster, then I absolutely hate Corona Mountain. It first of all starts with some brain dead easy platforming, and then you get to the single worst thing in this entire game, the dang boat. It takes no prisoners. As soon as you even graze an obstacle, it'll immediately herd you into the boiling hot nacho cheese lava. And it sucks, and it's terrible to control too. Right is left and left is right. That makes no sense, but this is a Mario Sunshine. Of course that makes sense in this game. And then after you do the single worst challenge in that game, the worst part of the game, you get it goes back to brain dead easy platforming. This level just sucks. It is not a good final level. It's miserable. And this is why I said I wanted to talk about the positives before the negatives, because there's a lot of garbage in this game. And now we're going to talk about the boss battles. And I think the boss battles in this game are just like the levels. They range from good to just bad. And the first boss battle you fight is Petey Piranha, and you actually fight him twice in the game. The first time is a great introductory boss showing you what you could be fighting, and then the second time is garbage because he flies around and you have to hit him with water and then he falls down, and then you have to do what you did in the first time you fought him, which is spray water into his mouth and then ground pound his stomach when he falls down. But the worst part about the flying one is that he will sometimes take an eternity to open his mouth, and it sucks. It takes forever, it is annoying, and it is tedious. And that's the problem with this game. It follows the same thing. Fun and then tedious. It's a never-ending cycle with this game. And then you have the next boss being Gooper Blooper, which the way to fight Gooper Blooper is that you have to spray his face, get rid of the ink. You don't really have to, I think you actually do have to do that to like grab his mouth. But to make it a little bit easier so he doesn't hit you every time, you have to rip off his limbs. That sounds morbid, but that's legit what you have to do. And you do that twice for the fight, and then it's over. It's a really easy fight, and it would be fine if you didn't have to fight this mother trucker 3 fudging times without any changes, because the second time you fight him is in the same goddamn level, and that's fine, because you did that with the first level. And then this loser just has the audacity to come back in Milky Bay out of all levels. He just comes back in that, and you're just like, when did you get here? And you can only rip off a squid's limbs so many times, or it's just not fun anymore. But you have to fight the same boss 3 times, and that is just kind of baffling.
And then you have
Gelato Beach. The boss there is a giant wiggler, which that boss is super easy to cheese. You can stand near one like pyramid and then it will just like knock the boss over twice. The only time I had to change was for the final hit, and it's just super easy, and it's just such a non-boss fight. Like I say, it's just so easy. And then there's Peanut Park, which I think has genuinely the best boss in the entire game, being the Bowser mech. It actually has great mechanics where they're on rails, and you have to make sure the bullet bills don't hit you while you get these rocket things and you just fire it at the mech. It's a pretty cool fight. It's sad that that is the only actually good fight in this game, because
The next boss is in Noki Bay.
being the giant eel, where Mario does probably the most goated thing and gives it free dental care. Tooth Pain can hurt, and I can see why that thing was like polluting the ocean, because it was just in so much pain. And so Mario, the goat that he is, gave him free dental care. And you know what? That's awesome. Other than that, that's literally the entire boss. And now we actually move on to Serena Beach, where the bosses are a giant manta ray silhouette thing. I don't actually know what it is. It is a manta ray, but it's just a weird silhouette. And the more you damage it, the more it'll split. And at some point, it just becomes a Musho game. But overall, out of all the boss battles, it's not the worst one, because there are far worse bosses in this game. And then the next boss in Serena Beach, because usually every world has two, some of them just have like one, is the Boo that's in the casino. This thing sucks. This fight sucks because it literally has a slot machine, and it can take so long because it will randomly do stuff. Sometimes it'll give you coins, sometimes it will throw you a bunch of enemies, and then sometimes it will give you a bunch of like fruits. And when those fall down, there are peppers. Don't question that peppers are considered fruits in this game. Editing Taquito Man 624 here, and I just want to re-explain the last mechanics of the fight, because the original version sucked. And the last mechanics is actually how you beat the boss. And how you do that is you have to throw a pepper onto his tongue, and then after that you have to grab one of the fruits and hope you land a hit with the fruit, because if you don't, it will probably restart his damage cycle, and that means you have to go through the RNG all again, and it just kind of sucks. It's annoying, it's tedious, and it just isn't fun. I think this is the worst fight in the game, and that's just it. It's not fun. So yeah, go back to enjoying your video. Oh yeah, and then you have the final boss, which final boss is okay. It's like one of the better bosses in this game because it isn't long and tedious. It's just kind of short and whatever. All you gotta do is like ground pound all of the like things coming off of the side of it. You have to use the rocket nozzle and then ground pound them. Well, Bowser will shoot fire, and Bowser Jr. is constantly firing bullet bills at you. It's overall one of the more fun bosses when you learn it, but for a final boss, it leaves a lot to be desired. And that pretty much wraps up the gameplay of Mario Sunshine. And I just gotta say, Mario Sunshine has some really fun gameplay when it's good. But when it's bad, it is annoying and tedious, and I said that a bunch throughout this video because that's literally the best way to describe most of the gameplay of this game. Even at that, I still think it's good gameplay. So now it is time for the conclusion of this video. And you're probably like, where's the pros and cons segment? I made those very clear in the gameplay segment. So yeah, is Mario Sunshine the worst Mario game? No, I actually think it's a good Mario game. I think it's a good 3D Mario game. And I think that it gets a lot of undeserved criticisms, but it does get a lot of deserved criticisms. Yes, this game has a lot of flaws, but every game has flaws. Even with Mario Sunshine's numerous amounts of stupid decisions, I still love it. I still think it's, in my opinion, my favorite Mario game of all time. Really good, in my opinion. There's a lot of charm, and it's just a lot different from most Mario games. And it's genuinely depressing that this game was never considered the successor to Mario 64. It's always looked at as the Mario game in between 64 and Galaxy. Even though I think this game has a lot more uniqueness compared to Super Mario Galaxy. Galaxy is like more of the same Mario. Well, Sunshine tried to do something different. It tried to innovate, and I don't think it failed, but at the time a lot of people did think this game failed at innovating. People thought that the flood dumbed down the gameplay, and it's just unfortunate because this game tried to be different. It did a lot of things that I wish newer Mario games had. It had full voice acting, genuine, what's it called, real cutscenes, and an actual attempt at telling a story. Well, most Mario games don't even try to do that. This game was taking a leap of faith, and it didn't quite work out, so they went back to the formula that worked the best, which was just Mario 64. And that's genuinely unfortunate. Mario Sunshine will forever be, in my opinion, the best Mario game. And if you want to see more videos like this, put it in the comments below. And thanks for the support like always. This was your host, TaquitoMan64. See you all in the next one. Goodbye.